Today we're going to practice writing the equation of a line when we're given a point on that line and the slope of the line. So let's get started. In this problem, we are told that a line passes through the point -1, 4 and has a slope of 1/3. And we're asked to write the equation for the line. I went ahead and graphed the line, although this is not required to solve this problem. What we have is a point at -1, 4, and that point is on the line. And then the line has a slope of 1/3. So we're going to rise 1 and run to the right 3. So this is the line for which we're going to write an equation. And we're going to look at two methods to write this equation. Method 1 will be using this point-slope formula. So with the point-slope formula, we need 1 point, and we have that 1 point. In this case, x of 1 is -1. And y of 1 is 4. And we also need to know the slope of the line. And our slope, m, is equal to 1/3. So let's plug these numbers in to the point-slope equation. So we'll have y minus y of 1, y of 1 is 4, equal to, our slope is 1/3, times the quantity x minus a -1. So we have y minus 4 equal to 1/3. I'm going to simplify down what's in parentheses. So x minus a -1, subtraction of a negative, that's addition. So we have x plus 1. Let's go ahead and write this in slope-intercept form. I'll start by distributing that 1/3. So we have y minus 4. We'll leave the left side alone for right now. This is going to give us 1/3 x plus 1/3. Now we'll add 4 to both sides. So now we have y equal to 1/3 x plus 1/3. And then we're adding 4. Well, let's go ahead and rewrite 4 with a denominator of 3 so we can add these fractions. So that's 12/3. And then we add those fractions. We get y equal to 1/3 x plus 13/3. And so we now have an equation in slope-intercept form. And a bit later in this video, we'll look at writing this equation in standard form as well. Again, this is method 1 for writing this equation. Let's take a look at another method. Again, we have the same problem, the same point, the same slope, but instead of using the point-slope form, we're going to use the slope-intercept form to write this equation. And so to do this, we're going to take the x value and the y value from that point. So our y value is 4, equal to, slope is 1/3, times x, our x is -1, plus b. And now we're going to find that y-intercept. So this is 4 equal to -1/3 plus b. We'll add 1/3 to both sides. So we're going to be adding 4 plus 1/3. So again, we'll find that common denominator. This is 12/3 plus 1/3 equal to b. We end up with b equal to 13/3. You may have noticed when we added this, again, I found a common denominator because I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. I'm going to leave it as 13/3. But this is 4 plus 1/3, or 4 and 1/3. So this is the mixed number, 4 and 1/3. So you could have added this without finding a common denominator, and then potentially convert this to an improper fraction next. But regardless, we now know the y-intercept, and we were given the slope, so we can go back to this slope-intercept form. We have y equal to 1/3 x plus 13/3. So with method 2, or with this different method, we do end up with the same equation in slope-intercept form. So regardless of whether you use the point-slope form or the slope-intercept form, we ended up with y equal to 1/3 x plus 13/3 as the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. So we have a y-intercept of 13/3. Rewriting this as a mixed number, this is 4 1/3. And if you notice, we're crossing that y-axis about 1/3 the distance between 4 and 5. But we can also write this equation in standard form. So that's ax plus by equal to c, where a, b, and c are all constants, they're all numbers. So let's start by gathering the x and y variables on the left side. So we'll subtract 1/3 x from both sides. We now have negative 1/3 x plus y equal to 13/3. Now let's get rid of that fraction. So let's multiply both the left side and the right side by 3. So 3 times negative 1/3, that's going to be negative 1. So we have negative x plus 3y equal to 13. So 13/3 times 3 is 13. So we now have an equation in standard form, but right now we're leading with a negative. And I like to write my equations so I do not have a leading negative. I tend to lose them sometimes. So what I'm going to do is multiply both the left side and the right side by negative 1. We're going to multiply everything by negative 1. And when we multiply everything by negative 1, what we end up doing is changing the sign for everything. So we now have a positive x minus 3y equal to negative 13. And so this is our equation in standard form. And if you're given a problem like this, and you're not told specifically what form to write the equation, either of these two forms, either standard form or slope-intercept form, are good choices. In particular, I like slope-intercept. One reason is because each line will only have one form of slope-intercept. If you look at point slope, every point that's on this line will have a different equation. So you can have an infinite number of equations for the same line if it's written in point slope form. But that same line will only have one equation in slope-intercept form. I also like slope-intercept because just by looking at the equation, we can see where it intercepts that y-axis, and we can see its rate of change. We can see its slope. Standard form is also nice, particularly in this case since we no longer have fractions. I can quickly look at this equation and see that the x-intercept is negative 13 because that happens when y is equal to 0. So if you're not told directly how to write the equation, choosing either standard form or slope-intercept would work fine. A great way to learn is practice on your own. We will discuss in a bit, but go ahead and pause your screen and do this problem. Okay, so we're asked to find the equation of a line that passes through the point 7, negative 3, and has the slope of negative 2/3. So looking at those same two methods, with method 1, we used point slope form. And then method 2, we use slope-intercept. All you need to do is one of these methods, and regardless of the method you chose, you ended up with the equation y equal to negative 2/3 x plus 5/3 in slope-intercept form. And then you can take this equation and rewrite it in standard form. You end up with 2x plus 3y equal to 5. Drop any questions you have in the comments. Continue practicing writing the equations for a line, and I'll see you in the next video.